Cheers to adulting.
Hey!
Hello, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers!
To adulting. That was beautiful. That was poetry.
Welcome back!
Welcome, everybody.
Are you-
Happy 2020.
Happy 2020! Yes! I hope everyone has acclimated themselves to their home robots, to their flying cars.
Right? In the year 2020.
In the year 2020.
That was beautiful. That was also poetry.
So, right.
Yeah, that's
We're here.
we're queer.
It's true.
Right? Like you're talking to two bisexual women over here. So yeah, we're here and we're queer.
So, let's get the show on the road.
Right?
This is going to be one of those like fun and short episodes.
Yeah. Although we say short and then we'll go down the rabbit hole like our last episode.
Short,
and, like,
intentional episode.
Yeah. We intend for it to be short. How about
Yes.
that one?
So we're going to be talking, today we're going to talk about this was a suggestion from a listener, Craig.
What's up, Craig?
Yeah, from Russia.
Ayo.
Will not show you how bar show you how to do. I don't know why that went. I've been rewatching Outlander, so that went like Scottish, Russian, and
Like a Pakistani having a stroke.
yeah, which is very sad because I actually have a really good Russian accent.
Anyway.
Yeah, so
let's bring it back to the something a little less
adulty on theme.
Yeah, this is just a nice reminder that the suggestions you send us, we take seriously. We
First
can
serious.
first serious.
First
So
serious.
if there's
not
ever
for granola, for cereal.
exactly not for pancakes, but for cereal.
Yeah.
So if there's ever any ideas that you really want us to flesh out, and not in like that creepy kind of like, Silence of the Lambs kind of flesh out kind
Puts
of
the
way,
lotion on the skin.
right? Or else it gets the hose again. Then seriously, send it our way at cheerstoadulting@gmail.com because
You can slide into our DMs.
right, slide into our DMs. We appreciate them as long as they're not dick pics because we don't do that shit. Homie, don't play that. But anyways,
Titty pics we're okay with.
I mean,
Or Ashley is.
who can say no to some titties, Like, especially
Right.
fully consenting, fully consenting titties are some sexy titties. Anyways.
I will take your titties.
And we're already down the rabbit hole. But anyways, Craig gave us this wonderful idea of having a podcast about stalking the perfect home bar.
Love it.
Right?
So great. But before I get into that, we're going to talk about a little bit of adulting.
All right. So I can do mine. It's relatively short and sweet. I have finally dropped off the broken dishwasher at the dump.
Yay!
Which took, now mind you guys, I don't know if I talked about this last year, and again, this was not only last year, but technically 2 years ago. If we're
Wait,
talking,
when we had our dishwasher, did we talk about how I had to like fill it up with the hose from
yeah,
the
we
sink?
did, and I remember that.
so bad.
So ours wasn't that bad. Now, mind you, this was around Super Bowl of 2018, and I remember this because it was weeks before the Super Bowl party, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? We
When
don't
is
have
Super Bowl.
February.
Are y'all doing it again?
I have
we
no
go
idea.
last year? We
I think
did, right?
you did go last
Yeah.
year, yes. So, and I was like, son of a fucking bitch. No, it was Super Bowl of 2019. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm getting my numbers mixed up on this bitch. So I was like, are you fucking kidding me? We're about to host a Super Bowl party and now we don't have a working dishwasher. And basically what happened is like the circuitry just short-circuited. And we're like, okay, you know what? It's not worth it to fix it. It's actually gonna be more expensive to fix it. We're gonna get a brand new one.
Yeah.
We got a brand new one. And then my husband carted it into our dining room and it stayed there for a fucking year.
Wait,
A
did I
fucking
see
year.
this?
You
Did
might
I
have.
just like, did I block it out of my brain?
Possibly.
Wait,
So-
where was it? Was it there for Noam's bridal shower?
It was, but it was in a corner. And here's the thing, like I actually pointed it out to a close friend who's been there like a lot of times. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait to bring it to the dump. And I like pointed it out and he was like, wait a minute,
Wait,
really?
so The new one was installed and he moved the old one.
Yes, so the new one was installed.
And the new old one was in a corner somewhere.
It was in the corner in our dining room.
Nobody puts the dishwasher in a
Exactly.
corner.
Nobody puts the dishwasher in a corner. Jesus. Or put Jesus in a corner too, whatever. But it had been hanging out there for a really long while. And my husband is...
Sorry, go ahead.
It's all right. It's one of those things that honestly, like nobody goes into our dining room except for me because I use that kind of as my home office.
No, but I was thinking about like, I guess I'm very oblivious and I'm very blessed. Hashtag blessed.
Hashtag.
That I don't even remember when Michael took out our old dishwasher or how he disposed of it. I'm very lucky that he did all these things. It was like all of a sudden it was gone and all of a sudden we had a new one. It was like, yay!
Thank you for taking care of the house.
Yes. Thank you for being the adult that I can never be.
Hey, we all need one, and unfortunately in my house, I'm very much the groundskeeper of my house.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh wait, no, opposite.
Like, I should be high-fiving Mike, I think.
Yes.
Like, maybe
Yeah,
Isaac should be high-fiving you. So, because it really is, I love my husband. I love Isaac so much, but we
Don't
operate.
lie, you love me more.
I mean, how can he compete, really?
Right?
Like, you are the ENFP to my
dick's
INFP. Like,
Lies.
but he is one of those people that clutter doesn't bother him. Clutter drives me out of my fucking mind, and I can't handle it, which is tough because I'm also a scatter, and so sometimes I'll leave stuff out, and then I'll come back.
Oh yeah.
And then I'll be like, "There's stuff out."
And I don't care. And then other people like Michael's, like mine will be all this other stuff, and he leaves a sock, and I'm like, "You have got to be fucking kidding me! How dare you leave these socks?" Meanwhile, I've like paper strewn all on our coffee table.
See, for me, I'm equal opportunity. Like, I can't handle my own, so there's a lot of inner conflict where I will leave stuff out and then be so frustrated at myself that I left stuff out. Like, no, there's clutter everywhere, and shit, this is my clutter. Fuck. Past Abby, how could you do this to future Abby?
Past Abby.
Honestly, past Abby and future Abby have
Past
like...
Abby, you dirty fucking slut.
Right? And there are definitely a couple of times where like past Abby would be like, that's for future Abby to deal with. And future Abby would be like, past Abby, you fucking slut. Anyway, I can't handle clutter. And it was kind of driving me batty that we had this dishwasher just hanging out in the corner of our dining room, especially, again, because I use my dining room as kind of like my home
Not
office.
contributing to society.
Right?
Just
Fucking
like such a
freeloader. Jesus Christ, pay some rent.
Right?
And my husband was finally like...
Wash a dish. Oh,
Right?
wait, you can't.
Right? Oh, you useless. You can't even help me out with those household chores. And Isaac was finally like, hey, just remind me on an off Friday, because he has alternating Fridays off, that we'll go down to the dump. And it just so happened that every time there was an off Friday for the last like month, stuff was happening. Like whether it was month, you know, you gotta keep it dramatic, y'all.
Yeah.
But finally, this past Friday, I was like, hey, can we please go down to the dump and drop it off? Which we did, and I was actually kind of shocked. Like, I've actually never been to our town's dump. We're lucky. We get trash pickup. We don't have to drop anything off at the dump. And when I think the dump, I have a very, like, you get a very specific image in your mind of what the dump looks like. Yeah, fill me up. Fuck me up, bitch.
So much for driving.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I was about to say, I got another hour. I metabolize quickly. But again, you have an idea of what the dump looks like. And so I have this image of my head.
ex-boyfriend.
My ex ain't shit. Anyway. That just came from a meme that I was thinking of where it was one of those like, hey, if you're scrolling by it, just remember that you're beautiful and your ex ain't shit. And I was like, yeah, I am. True on both parts. Anyway, so I always have this image of in my head of what a dump looks like, and it actually threw me off.
I'm still thinking about that. So dump looks like, threw you off.
It didn't look like my ex at all. So we get there, and it's just like really just kind of chill. Like there's an area to dispose.
Chill as fuck.
Right? There's an area to dispose of metal objects, an area to dispose of hazardous waste, and it really is just like this little like open area warehouse with like, you know, only 2 walls. And it's like, okay, here, we'll back up to the spot that's for metals. Here's the dishwasher. We'll put it next to the other dishwashers that have apparently been dumped off. We'll pay the guy $5 because it costs $5 to go to the dump.
Oh yeah.
And off we went. And there's a part of me that kind of like, because I have friends who live in small towns that don't have any Oh, thank you. She just tucked a little lock of hair behind my ear. It's very,
It was annoying me more than anything.
Here
Less
I-
than cute.
Here I was being like, this is a token of affection. And she was like, this annoyed the shit out of me. Which I feel like also sums up all of my relationships. Like, it's affection. No, it's me dealing with something that annoys me. Close enough. Anyways, so there was a part of me that was kind of like, oh, wow, this is the first time going to the transfer station, as they call it. And I came home and I'm just like, I have this so open dining room now. I don't have this random ass broken electronic. This is wonderful. Because that is one of the things that Isaac and I clash on. And he's gotten good about it because he recognizes that his way is the wrong way.
Wait, he's realized this?
I think he's starting to, because there's been a few times. Now, again, I love Isaac. I got to preface this. I love him. I know, right? He's recognizing that he's wrong about something. He has been growing over the last couple of years. It's amazing. He admits when he's wrong. He still doesn't think he's ever wrong.
People can change.
I know. I mean, he still thinks he's infallible, but every once in a while he's like, oh, wait a minute, I was wrong about this.
It's hard for someone who's not only like wicked smart, but also autistic.
Yeah, because he's one of those people that he's like, well, I'm so logical about everything that
Like
if I were
Sheldon
wrong about
Cooper.
it. Yeah, basically.
Sheldon Cooper admitting that he's wrong about something. Do
And
you
like
think
Sheldon,
that would ever happen?
right? And like Sheldon Cooper, Isaac has a spot on the couch, and you do not sit in his spot. No. You do not sit in it. But I think what has been helping, because his whole attitude has been, well, I'll remember where I put it. And it's like, no, you fucking don't. You never do. And he's had...
Let me tell you where it is.
Exactly. And there's been a few times, like, I don't touch his, he has a desk in our family room. That's his desk. I don't touch it. I don't organize it. And, you know, he'll be like, oh, I need this certain paper. And he'll ruffle through the desk and he can't find the paper because it is just a chaos. It's just a calamity of stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe I should have an organizational system. Oh, yeah, you think?
This is what secretaries are for.
Right? And I will say, like, Isaac is amazing about telling me, he's like, hey, you are definitely the person who upkeeps the house. You're the one who makes it look good. I appreciate all the work you do, right? Like, no brag. But, you know, at least he recognizes it, and he's starting to recognize that, no, the whole I'll remember where I put it is a fucking bogus system.
Yeah.
You need to have an organization system. So this was originally going to be a relatively short adulting, but we kind of went down the rabbit hole, as we always do. But Ashley, tell me about your adulting.
Let's talk about not adulting, I guess, very briefly. So for me, I have to work Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, blah, 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 blah. I'm very bitter about it, so I won't get into it. But anyway, the couple that I work for, they have a lot of, when it's the holidays, they go like hard. And they basically do like little mini holiday parties or dinner parties for different people. So it was funny because this week they had, well, I guess the timelines kind of be weird because we're recording this in December, but this is going to be posted in January.
Show business, everybody.
Right? One of the people, I was very proud of her because the last time that he came over, it's like a lifelong friend, she like made a point to tell me he was also Jewish. And she was doing it like out of the kindness of her heart. And I'm like, we don't all know each other and we don't all need to know each other's Jewish. Like, I don't point out all the Christian. Did you know that person's Christian too?
Well, speaking of queer, that happens a lot in the queer world too. Like, did you know they're bisexual too or they're gay too? I'm like, do you do that with the straight people too?
Like, yeah, it doesn't mean I want to fuck them. Like,
right?
Did you see me? Did you see them?
Right? Like, we're just because we are not mainstream
You got like
straight.
Chola, like chocolate lip liner going on right
Excellent.
now. Excellent.
I love it.
From the chocolate.
Right, from this ultra rich chocolate cocoa that we got going on.
So anyway, they are having like a bunch of dinner parties and whatever. And it's a great opportunity for me to get extra hours, but it also means that I have no life. Because not only am I working full time, I'm also picking up dinner parties, which means I stay at work.
And late too, like through dinner into cleaning.
Oh, I'm about to get into that. But I'm also like cleaning houses on the side and babysitting. So like I had a weekend where I cleaned one house for 4 hours, and then I cleaned underneath them for the other owner for 3 hours, and then I drove from that house to go babysit from like 5:15 to 11 at night, and then the next day I worked from 2 to TBD. That was a whole weekend.
Whole ass weekend.
Yeah, and then so we had a dinner party, and it was only 3 people, so it was like Mr. and Mrs. and their lifelong friend. Like, they've known for decades. And I did the math, and it must be about 50 years or so. I mean, they're in their late 70s, so...
That's not hard. You make friends in your 20s, you keep them around, like...
So, like, the husband, he's a night owl, because he'll do his... He is the most... Mind you, he annoys me on all ends, because he's so fussy. Fussy is the greatest word to attribute to him.
Honestly, when you're a super sensitive, like, rich person, you're a baby.
He's fussy, but he has the money for it. He can be fussy as much as he wants. He's very particular about how he wants things, and he has the money and he pays for it. So he's fussy, and he, like, works all the time. Even when he's, like, supposed to be not working, quote unquote, he's still working. Well, I didn't leave until after 11 o'clock at night.
Jesus Christ.
And I had been there since 9 in the morning.
Oh, that's some ER nurse shift hours right there.
Yeah,
Holy
around
shit.
10 o'clock, he came by and he saw me. And I was, mind you, I was getting paid I was just, at this point, I had done everything that I could do. And I was just sitting, waiting and I had checked on them enough times that once you get to a point that they kind of, like, let you know, they're like, we're fine. If we need anything, we'll come find you. Because if I had checked on them anymore, it was a nuisance. So I didn't. Around 10:15, I think it was 10:15, he saw me and he was like, oh, hey, Ashley, did you want to head out? And I said, well, and I did have the next day off, but I had to wake up in the morning for an appointment. I said, well, I mean, I'm fine and it's up to you, as I always say. I can stay if you want or whatever. I have tomorrow off. He didn't need to know I had to wake up early the next day, as long as it wasn't there. Because at the end of the day, I was just rewatching Gilmore Girls on my iPhone, just sitting at the table, and at one point FaceTiming Courtney.
Get paid for doing what you love.
Yeah, after 11 o'clock. Anyway, so yeah, at the same time, I'm not home much, so I have a hot minute to, like, throw in some laundry, and it just sits in a basket, and my car's a mess, my bathroom's a mess. It's a whole mess. So a lot of adulting hasn't been happening.
But I would say the adulting is happening because you are working your fucking ass off.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things that always drives me nuts. Like, it's an all or nothing when it comes to adulting. Like, either you have perfect marks across the board or you fucking failed. Like, no. Sometimes you're working 70-hour weeks and it's okay if stuff at house, like, isn't up to par.
You see it, and so you're like, oh, I'm not. You feel like you're not contributing, and you feel bad. And I do, and it like gives me anxiety because I like see the dishes piling in the sink, and it's like, oh, you're never home. But, like, it's still like, oh, I should find some time to do it.
Yeah, but I would definitely say that while it can feel like an adulting fail, definitely cut yourself some adulting slack.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, there are times where, I mean, I will work maybe 50 hours that week, and I feel like a fucking, like, waste.
Yeah.
And that's, that's only an additional 10 hours over the usual, 9 to 5-ish. Like, so, again, so for those of you who do have crazy hours, or, like, you have a second job and it's kind of taking over your life, it's okay. It's okay if the dishes are piling up or the laundry's not getting caught up on. Like, ideally, we would never have to be in a situation where we have to work that many hours. But since we do live in this shit-ass economy, as mentioned in the previous episode.
Okay, boomer.
Right? Thanks, boomers.
Yeah.
The whole thanks, Obama. No. Thank you, boomer. Thank you for,
No.
Yeah. Thank you for electing all the people that you've elected that helped create this shit show that we're in 2020.
Yes.
Anyway.
So, on to the beef. So, we're talking about how to stock the perfect home bar.
Yes.
So, I don't know what you wrote and I wrote.
Well, I think, what we can do, and this is actually wonderful. So we
So
had.
do you want me to read what Jared wrote first?
Yeah, let's do that, because one of the wonderful things is that when we were doing our research for this, Ashley had reached out to a pretty wonderful bar manager at a pretty awesome prestigious
place in Boston,
right? And the best part is that the feedback he gave back kind of really runs parallel with what we researched. So I figure the best thing is to just listen to his words, and then we can provide our inputs.
So thank you to Jared.
All right, thank you, man.
I tried to call him and ask him if he wanted his full name or not, and so Jared C. from he's a bar manager at a place in like in Boston proper. So awesome, very cool. He also has like a very hipstery mustache that's very awesome and like waxed, and very few people can pull that off.
Very few.
Yeah. So he said, in terms of stocking a home bar, I see two different approaches. Pre-purchasing the selection of basics and place meal, building a set. Essentially, either buying one of every bottle you think you'll need to start off, which can be quite expensive and prohibitive, or deciding what exactly you want to make and buying those ingredients first. I prefer and recommend the second route. Let's say you're planning a party for a few friends, and it's funny because I was reading this and I thought, like, this is exactly what I would like.
Exactly.
Pick a cocktail that you like to make.
Exactly. That was the advice that I was writing up too.
And so let's say you're planning a party for a few friends and you want to have cocktails. Instead of having a quote unquote fully stocked bar, you can make things a lot easier on yourself by planning out a few cocktails for a short menu. Most home bartenders don't have the knowledge or ability to simply look at ingredients on a shelf and figure out what they can make. If you have 3 cocktails planning for the evening and written out somewhere for a menu, guests have a clear choice as to what is available, and you can have your mise en place all prepared to speed things up. Not to mention batching if needed, which reminds me, this is not something you wrote. Kind of like when you have a wedding and you pick your cocktail, your theme cocktail for the groom or the bride or a joint thing. It helps, like, especially if I plan in the future, I'll probably do a couple themed cocktails because it'll be easier and
then just so crazy ass, like literally everything.
Yeah. So let's say a daiquiri, a gin martini, and an old fashioned. 3 classic, easy-to-make cocktails with a varied selection of style and spirit. You would need rum, gin, dry vermouth, orange, and Angostura bitters, and rye or bourbon for spirits, and lime juice, simple syrup, and orange lemons for expressing oils. Much cheaper and concise for your starting off point. Which, at the end of the day, so for example, and I'm going off of what he wrote already, so he had listed dry vermouth. Vermouth is something that you would use in plenty things, like a martini or whatever, and you can buy that really cheap at like Trader Joe's. And then bitters. Bitters is something that really adds flavor, and you can use that for a lot of different cocktails. So moving from there, you can look at what you already have and expand outward. From the gin martini, you can add yellow chartreuse to your collection and make an Alaska. Ooh, we should try that for the next episode.
I know, right? Jesus,
1 dash orange bitters, 3/4 ounce of yellow chartreuse, and 2 3/4 ounce gin. Now you have an additional modifier. He's so smart. An additional modifier that can help you spider web from there. One of my personal favorite, Manhattan Variations, also uses yellow, the green point, 2 dash orange, Angostura, 1/2 ounce of yellow, 1/2 ounce of sweet vermouth, and 2.5 ounce of rye. From a daiquiri, you can move to literally any tiki variation that utilizes rum. This method allows you to slowly build a collection while you explore drinks and work on your abilities at home. It's a long, arduous process, but will slowly put recipes into your collection and also help you to see common lines between cocktails and preparations. My personal collection of spirits, and I clean their house. He is a roommate of one of my closest friends and my ex-husband, who I've known since we were in high school. So he's like my brother now. I know that's weird for people, but he's like my brother.
You're talking to a relationship anarchist over here. It's like, no, you guys are friends now. That's what the relationship's at.
Yeah, he's like my brother, and Jared's been in his life for quite a while too. And they're all in the restaurant industry. Well, Jared is, and Oliver is not anymore. But so their bar is quite full. Oh, goodness gracious. Where did it?
Oh, well, you were very close to the end. Let's see, where was it? Were we at This Method Allows, or?
Oh, so this method allows you to build a collection while you explore drinks and work on your abilities at home. It's a long, arduous process, but you will slowly put recipes into your collection and also help you to see common lines between cocktails and preparation. My personal collection of spirits in home, it's quite full, is both sipping rums and things used to make a variety of cocktails. It's not nearly as stocked with options as my PAR program, but then again, I've spent a fraction of the cost and can still make things that I need for nights spent cocktailing. Hope this is what you were looking for, Jared.
And it was exactly what we were looking for.
It was exactly what we were looking for.
Because again, like when it came to both what we were doing when we came to our research, a lot of it was the same stuff. You know, start small, start with what you like. If you try to do the whole like, I'm gonna have literally everything and I'm gonna have every mixer and booze and liquor and blah, 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 you are gonna like burn yourself out. You're probably gonna spend
financially.
Oh yeah, and potentially even mentally too, because here's the thing, like this is something I've noticed that if you host a party and you're like, here's my fully stocked bar, what do you want? And they'll say like, hey, can you make a blah, blah, blah? And it seems like really random and obscure. All of a sudden you're kind of screwed. But if you can say, hey, here's my bar, I can make you this, this, or this, it's a little different.
I would also, so there's a drink app that I like to use, and I'm sure there are others. I've had mine for ages, and now it's like at that point that it's like, it has ads and stuff, and I can't access everything. It's got too big for its britches.
Yeah.
It's called like Drinks Free. But look into Drinks apps, because this one is pretty good, even though it still has ads and won't let me see everything anymore. But having that at your hands, or buying like a good book off Amazon.
Amazon.
I've been drinking a lot. I'm not going to apologize.
It's been a long day.
Having a good cocktail book that you can, but an app is really good, especially the one that I have, that you can put in what you have and say, what drinks can I make out of this?
There you go.
Because then it just like from choosing different cocktails, like for example, for the podcast, that we'll try and pick thematic cocktails, and then we're stuck with like a bunch of random like Galliano liqueur and whatever, and we're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm not going to drink this on its own.
Right?
Did you write this one?
The clearance sales. Yes, I did. So that's a huge thing. Keep an eye out for clearance sales on booze. So this is one of these wonderful moments of like, yay, living in the small town. So I live in, small, like population 10,000. I went to the liquor store recently and I was actually trying to find some sake, a little sake.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at it, and one of the ladies who works there walks by me. She's like, oh, we haven't put the sign up for it yet, but that's on clearance. And and I was like, okay.
And so the sake was on clearance.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm willing to, like, I'm a little nervous because every time I blindly follow an employee's recommendation, it's always kind of worked out poorly. Like just recently I had a cashier at a supermarket be like, oh, my line's long, but that line over there looks quick. And I went over and I probably spent twice as much time waiting in that fucking line. I'm like, I shouldn't have listened to you. I shouldn't have listened to you. But I'm glad I listened to her, because she made it sound like it was only 50% off, which again, only 50% off, but it was an additional like 10% off that as well. I ended up paying like $5 for the entire bottle of sake when it was on like its regular wholesale price was like $16.99.
Yes.
So I was like, yes. So keep an eye out for that. And again, be friends with your local liquor store people, or if you're in Boston, with your local Packy employees.
One of my liquor stores that I really like to go to, they have like a clearance section. And it's not crappy stuff. Some of it is like seasonal.
Yeah.
Some that's not as popular. There was one that it was like Van Gogh gin. And
Do
it
you
was
lose
good.
an ear if you drink too much of it?
Yes. And I bought like bottles of it because it was so cheap and I love gin. So you never know.
Exactly. Keep your eye out for it. If you're like me, like, I mean, there are some like super cheap varieties that I kind of don't like those particular brands.
I try and go for the one that it's like the most, pardon me. Ooh, goodness. I try and go for the most expensive.
That has been brought back down size.
But still cheap enough that I'll buy it.
Exactly. So we're not saying just buy cheap ass liquor because I feel
Not
like I've
worth
noticed
it.
it. Yeah, like I notice it. I don't consider myself much of a booze like aficionado.
But like cheap tequila, it burns.
Cheap tequila gives me the spins. Good tequila just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So that's how I know when I'm dealing with like cheap tequila. It's like, oh my God, I'm already dizzy. It's like, nope, I was on the cheap shit. Okay.
Yeah. I was on the cheap shit.
I was on the cheap shit.
Yeah.
So we can also talk about where you're keeping this booze. Like, you know, not everybody will have a little, like, you know, one of my friends who I'm actually going to a party to later tonight, her apartment has this interesting little, like I won't say built-in, which she's like, this is my little speakeasy, and this is, you know, this perfect little bar area.
Right, we had one and we ripped it out.
Yeah, and so not everybody is going to be blessed with that, or maybe they're blessed with it and it gets ripped out. So you got to figure out storage ideas. So one of the ideas is a movable kitchen table, which again, or a kitchen island. So if you've ever seen those, and if you haven't, you know, pull up Bed Bath & Beyond and look for, you know, movable kitchen island or, you know, transportable kitchen island. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It's this little countertop area that you can move around. It's got shelves, so there's place to put the glasses, there's place to put the booze, and then you have a clear surface on top to like mix them drinks.
Or even utilize a bookshelf.
Exactly.
At our aficionado of the episode, Jared, their little, like, they don't really have like a bar area. They have a bookshelf. Actually, they added on a second bookshelf.
Of course.
And it's all alcohol and bookshelf.
Why not?
And it works.
Exactly. And another option is a baker's rack. And again, if you don't really know what that looks like, I mean, first and foremost, go Google that.
Google it.
But if you are driving, please don't Google. Please don't be on your phone.
Don't Google it.
So this is basically...
But if you do, I've been there.
Right? Like, no shame. I'm there myself. And then afterwards, I'm like, that was very dangerous.
No shame, no support.
Exactly. No shame, yet no support. We are not condoning this. We are not enabling this.
Yeah.
But basically, a baker's rack kind of looks like one of those movable kitchen islands plus like some shelves on top of it. And I know for me, I have one of those. I use it as kind of like a coffee bar. Like that's where I put all my mugs and a little coffee place because like even though I drink decaf coffee, like it's some like coffee is some serious shit for me, and all the mugs that I have is some serious shit. So I want to organize that. But you don't have to use it for coffee. You can use it for liquor. You can use those shelves to place your, you know, the glasses on top and the liquor on the bottom, and that little countertop in the middle as a place to make the drinks. You can improvise. You don't have to look up, you know. Bar or, you know, liquor bar and then spend thousands of dollars to get this bar. I'm trying to think of the names, and I'm a few drinks in, y'all. Like, I'm trying my best. Yeah. What is she doing? Her best.
Her best.
So again, there are always options. And again, maybe what you do is you go super DIY, like you make your own thing out of like some cinder blocks and some wood planks. Like, fucking get at it. Like, you can make this whatever you want. There are no rules.
Also, you should look into so say you're throwing a party, and you want to, I would recommend, instead of, I mean, we've already kind of said this, having a fully stocked bar, think small. Think of themed cocktails. For example, one of my good friends and coworkers, Brittany, hey girl, hey. She had a birthday, and I thought of, there was, I think it was BuzzFeed or something on Facebook about like large batch cocktails. And one of them, it was called like Jack Frosties, and she's a winter baby, so it was like a cheap thing. And there are plenty of things on Facebook or otherwise about large batch cocktails on like a budget. And it'll kind of slowly help you stock your bar while also providing for a party on a budget. And it'll help you slowly stock your bar. So, for example, Abby was kind enough to host a bridal shower / like Jack and Jill, whatever.
Pre-wedding party thing.
Yeah, and so I found this sort of article thing on Facebook for large batch cocktails on a budget. And it worked out, and it was like I didn't break the bank well, it was like shared cost, but anyway. We didn't break the bank for the bride and groom.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
the Jack and Jill thing.
Jack and Jill thing, yeah.
There we go. So I think that might actually be it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and at the end of the day, there are no rules. Like, we don't live in the world of prohibition anymore. There are no laws against what you can or cannot do. I mean, assuming you're not selling liquor, because again, better guess your liquor license if you're gonna do that shit. Yeah. But aside from that, if it's just at your house, do what you want. There are no rules.
Just if you have people coming over, ask what they like, and then look up cocktails.
Right?
The simpler the better, obviously.
Exactly. Like, if you're doing one of those crazy ass things with, like, you know, foam and like egg whites and what have you, like, maybe dial it back, unless you are an aficionado and you like that shit. Then in that case, you know, have fun.
But at the end of the day, ain't gotta be a hero, kid.
Right? Sometimes a, you know, goddamn G&T is what you need.
Right? G&T. Simple as fuck.
Right? Like a vodka tonic or,
you know, going to the store and buying the pre-made, like, the pre-made cocktail mixer, and all you have to do is add the alcohol.
Right? Like, you don't have to make it super fancy. At the end of the day, these are your friends. Yeah. Like, they're just here to hang out.
If they judge you, they ain't your friends.
Right? Those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
Yeah.
What's up?
What? Cheers.
Cheers, motherfuckers.
To adulting.
To adulting. And don't forget to follow us on all the shit. And if you have ideas,
Facebook
and Instagram,
Twitter,
and
YouTubes.
What's up? And again, don't forget to email us
your ideas.
Yeah. Email us ideas. We do take them seriously. We will research them, and we will have episodes like this, and we'll even shout you out, like we did for Jared, or not for Jared, for Craig.
Yes, for Jared and Craig.
And if you are one of our buddies who are willing to give us advice.
Spasiba. Craig, spasiba.
What she said.
It's thank you in Russian.
I am too white for that.
Too white? Russian is white.
That is true. I'm too Irish for that. How about that one?
Yes.
I'm too Anglo for that.
Yeah.
But for real, give us your ideas. And if you want to give us some advice, if you are just like one of those people, you want to like drop some adulting advice, send it our way. We'll make an episode around it. We will give you an awesome shout out like we did for Jared. So yeah, that's it. Thank you. And cheers one more time.
To adulting.
To adulting. Yummy.
Cheers to adulting.